Welcome to Shardcast, the Brandon Sanderson podcast. We're a bunch of mega fans giving you the news discussion and, of course, a whole lot of opinions about Brandon's works and the Cosmere. I'm Eric, and joining me is Evgeni.
Hi, hello, hi, I'm Argent.
Hi. Also, we have Jessie.
Hello, I'm Lady Lameness.
And lastly, we have Veronica.
Hello, I am Cheyenne Sedai.
And I am Chaos, and you got any show and tell?
Yeah, so I have this water bottle.
Wow, that's really what the fans are waiting for.
Brilliant.
Let me tell you, if you are shopping at Costco, dear viewer or listener,
Jesus Christ,
don't buy the Kirkland.
The analytics
water.
are just crashing through this part.
No,
Wow.
so my Mistborn playing cards arrived.
Oh, nice.
A few days ago.
How many of those did you get? How many of those did you get?
Oh, I got just one.
Held up. Okay, you held up like 3 boxes.
Yeah, that's the thing I was leading into. So there's an outer box and there's an inner box, and in the inner box you put the box with the cards.
I see.
Okay.
Not gonna lie, that seems like major overkill.
And I spent like 10 minutes unboxing
Can't confirm
this
that yes, he was trying to get this.
Yeah.
That is what we spent the last 10 minutes before we got the recording on. It's just like, how do I open this?
It was very. This box was very, very boxed and had to be. These feel nice though. Okay. Anyway, so I got the folio.
First impressions
version.
right here.
They're quite
that's
shiny.
That's very shiny.
And
You could almost say
obviously
metallic.
Yeah. I'm not gonna show all of them to you, but I will find some pictures. So here's I think these are either spare cards or jokers, but they're meant to be ruin and preservation.
Ooh.
Oh,
And obviously they're mirrors of one another, and the center is different.
Okay.
I quite like these.
Okay.
I like these a lot. That's what the ace looks like.
Okay.
And let's find some face cards. Let's do the.
So is it just that the face cards are
Characters.
themed and the other ones are normal cards?
Yeah. So for example, here is the.
Yeah, like the Stormlight cards from the
two of
Kickstarter.
spades.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, but they have the symbols on them. Cute.
They do have the
Okay.
symbols. Yeah.
What symbols? Hold
and
it
so
up again.
But
I'm trying to
man.
show pictures, Jessie.
Demands.
So
They got
yeah.
I hadn't noticed, yeah.
I'm finding it
And
really
then-
difficult to see like anything on most of these cards just from like the distance the computer is from my face, and I don't want to get my face like right up in the camera.
yeah. So
Yeah, which is why I
each
just
one
enlarged
actually
the screen
has
window on my.
a different color of. So if we compare
Oh,
the
nice.
spades and the
Oh,
hearts,
okay.
you will the other way. Whoops.
oh, like the foil's different.
Yes. So like if you.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
right.
then
So the
what-
symbol. Yeah. You can see that. Yeah.
So it's a different symbol and it's a different color symbol.
No. Okay.
And I guess the spades are the villains or hemologically associated.
Oh, okay. Oh, geez.
Characters.
All right.
And so we have Marsh. We have it says Kolos, but we all know this is human.
Yeah.
And we have the Lord Ruler,
Nice.
whom I quite
Ooh.
like in
That
this
looks
in
quite
this
nice.
art.
Looks quite nice. Maybe I should have bought these. Can we still buy these?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's probably gonna take like a year and a half for them to ship. That's
Oh, okay.
such is life.
Yeah, I just forgot to buy them. I was like, I'll buy like a cheaper thing, but there's a lot of Brandon swag. It's hard to get
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, it's also hard to like keep track of.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, that's neat, and I just totally forgot, just completely.
Here's a mare,
Woo!
Ooh, I like
quite-
that mirror.
quite rare mare. All the diamonds have like solid blocks of bronze as.
Nice.
Well, isn't
in
that
the
more
middle.
coppery?
I guess it's copper. Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, I'm just having
Ooh.
flashbacks to the Coppermind logo color
Here's the
debate.
logo.
And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's copper, actually.
That was a big wolf boy.
Yeah. You guys have no idea how long we talked about the hex codes for that Coppermind logo.
Oh no!
I don't even want to go back and look for those in the chat.
There were some very complicated things with like 16 options or something.
I've seen the forms, but I don't want to go back and look at the chat.
No, you don't, and no one does. Cool. Well, those look pretty swanky.
If you were curious, by the way, that's the King's Wild Mistborn deck.
Well, I'll put a link in the description to those. And yeah, those definitely look well made, to say the least.
They also feel quite nice.
Good.
Like this is not the bicycle deck of cards that you buy from your local 7-Eleven or whatever, or Walgreens.
Hey, I like those cards.
I mean, they have endured the test of time and
like a bike.
The test of,
like a bike.
Yeah, and the test of customer whims.
Good to shuffle.
Yeah, I was wondering how the Mistborn cards would shuffle.
Stormlight was a really nice.
Probably will.
Cool. So recently in June, there was a spoiler stream, which was very amusing because literally the day, it was like the middle of a month, we're like, for audio listeners, Evgeni was trying to balance the box of the deck of cards on his shoulder, and hilariously, it did not work. Yeah. Yeah, just have it be an eye patch. Be Kelsier. Our pirate Kelsier. I want to see that.
Kelsier.
The best pronunciation.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, no Kelsier, Kelsier. Perfect. So in June there was a spoiler stream, and literally the day that it got announced earlier, there's no way there's gonna be a spoiler stream this month, and so we recorded another thing, which you'll see in August. But amusingly, there was a spoiler stream, and presumably it was just later that month because Brandon got COVID, which is a great reason to not do a spoiler stream. So we are going to go through spoiler stream, Words of Brandon, full spoilers, no secret project spoilers though.
There is a Stormlight 5 question,
so
right?
there will be, I think there will be some Stormlight 5 related questions. Yes, there definitely will. Yeah, there totally will. Okay. So if you're wondering why we're not mentioning something from Secret Projects, it's because we're deliberately not, and the questions aren't either. So we're not going to talk about that, but Stormlight 5 Prologue, there will be stuff, which you should totally go check that out because it's
so cool.
It's quite the thing. Highly recommend. You can watch several of our videos about it too. We have clip shows now, so it's very cool. Mm-hmm. Nice. Well, let us head on in to WoB mode.
Engage the WoB mode.
We need WoB engaged.
Like a Star Trek thing. I don't know what that's gonna be.
What if we just have a text-to-speech thing, do it again, like the very old Who's That Cosmere character thing, where we just edited over the Pokemon, who's that? And then Cosmere character, like, there.
Look, I do remember that,
yeah. A perfect joke.
It was pretty funny. I am pretty sure that's what made us not be able to be monetized for a while, because we started to edit those out, and then we got a partner on YouTube. Like, well done.
Yeah, I listened to all those very old episodes.
Oh yeah, they're all still there. I do remember
that.
They're all still there.
Cool. Ready. Let's engage the WoB thrusters. The WoB.
We're not in Mistborn Era 4. We don't have those yet.
And open this show. I am mixing my metaphors.
Yeah.
With a question from Page Runner.
Who presumably transcribed this first, because this is his question.
Yeah.
Presumably, yes. Who says that in the Rhythm of War, Ars Arcanum, Chris says she sent her best agent among the Stonewards. Was that Nazh? And Brandon says, yes. Has he become a Radiant? Asks Page Runner again. And Brandon raffles that, but says, yes, she did send her best agent, and her best agent is Nazh. and he's not happy about it.
Is Nazh ever happy about anything?
Nazh is never happy about anything.
Yeah.
I mean, presumably he was happy at the moment when he was getting that embarrassing tattoo that he briefly talked about.
Well, maybe if he becomes a Radiant, he can get rid of it, but then he'll have to worry about how to get off the planet. So good luck with that, Chris and Nazh. That's, I guess we'll learn some Stonewards stuff eventually. I think Radiant Nazh would be very cool. Yeah, does Chris have other agents? Because it really feels like she just has Nazh, but yeah,
I thought she just had Nazh.
Maybe we'll find out if they ever do the Chris White Sands thing.
Or a Silverlight novella.
I mean, presumably because she says one of my best agents, then there are others, right? But I doubt she runs like an entire company. Like, I think she has like a few trusted people, maybe comparable to like Kelsier's crew in size. So maybe like a dozen people tops.
Sure.
I mean, she could also just be like talking it up so people think she does, and like she actually just has Nazh. But she doesn't want people to think she only has like one person working with her. She's not going to say that. So she says, my best agent, to give the illusion that there's more.
That's not Chris. No, she doesn't do that.
She could. We don't know. But she probably has multiple agents. It's just funny that we only have one of them.
Yeah.
It's like you think one would pop up otherwise.
But it's the best one.
The best one. The one that we know. The name that we have. Good.
Okay, so the next question is from Geoffroy. And he asked, it seemed that Deadeyes can wander Shadesmar freely, but when summoned as a Shardblade and subsequently dismissed, they end up at the location in Shadesmar corresponding to the location of the Shardbearer. How does this work for Deadeyes who are cared for by loved ones like Captain Icon? Brandon said that they would vanish if their Shardblade was summoned, and Adam followed up with, but it's been a while since that's happened, so it's not as much of a concern. Brandon responded with, you can assume that there are more Deadeyes wandering Shadesmar whose Shardblades have been lost than there are ones that the Shardblades are kept. Probably about an equal number, I would say, 50-50. Though I would have to really crunch those numbers. I'll say that across 5,000 years-ish, not quite, but that a lot of those weapons, even though they are powerful and things like that, are going to get lost. Ships are going to get sunk, things get covered over with creme on Roshar, people go up to cross mountain paths to go attack, and they end up freezing and dying. And I think that over the years, there's been a ton of those that have been lost.
But, okay. I have some questions here.
I think we all do.
I have some issues here.
Because, like, if you die, the Shard Blade isn't in Shadesmar anymore. Like, if you're bonded to a blade and you die, the blade like falls down next to you, and then the Deadeye would then therefore not be in Shadesmar, right? It would just be a blade in the physical realm, right?
I think
right?
Brandon is like, I think there are at least 2, maybe 3 different things that are being talked about here.
I agree. Yes. Brandon is talking like generally about the missing Shard Blades and not really specifically about this.
I don't quite understand this 50-50 thing that he's saying. Like, I do think he needs to crunch some more numbers there, because that doesn't seem correct, considering like how many Stonewards and Windrunners we see in the Keep Vision who drop their blades versus how many that we know of are in the world, which are not that many.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
We are told of maybe a couple of dozen blades in circulation.
Yeah.
And we see hundreds of Windrunners and Stonewards.
And that's presumably not all the Stonewards and not all the Windrunners, and certainly not like all these others.
2 orders.
Yeah, it's just 2 orders. Probably maybe the most numerous, maybe, but hard to say.
This it sounds like Brandon doesn't want to like do the math and figure out like exactly what happened with these, but there's still things missing that don't make sense with the way he's describing that the blades have been lost. Like, it doesn't add up.
But like, if the blades are lost and the Deadeyes aren't walking in Shadesmar, true or false? Isn't that is absolutely like how it works. If it's covered in creme, the Deadeye would not be in Shadesmar.
If the blade is in the physical realm,
right,
then they are not in Shadesmar.
Right. So how?
I was thinking if there's a way to make that work and say, well, if the blade is in the physical realm, but it's not bonded to anyone, then maybe the Spren returns. But then that has issues with how we think the Radiance, the Recreance happened, where Spren couldn't get back to the other side to like tell their friends what happened.
Oh right, yes. I'm glad you remembered that episode that we did, because I don't.
I thought it was an interesting idea.
That's true. Yeah, so I would say yes. You really need to crunch those numbers, Brandon, because I have some issues with this.
More like Brandon is gonna ask whoever he mentioned the other day is helping him with these things to crunch those numbers.
Outsourcing.
Well, we'll talk about that in a bit. I believe we grabbed that. So yeah, neat.
So the next question is from Chris D, and it says, if Hoid collects a form of investiture from any planet, will it grant him special effect? And Brendan says he hopes so.
Cool. That makes a lot of sense.
Forward. Yeah.
Does it?
Well, I mean,
I found this very surprising.
Oh, really?
Like, it has been a theory in the fandom for a long time that he is collecting investitures from all the shards because something with Adhesion, right?
Yeah. Are you like... Are you wondering the transition from collect all the things and then like question mark and then like it's the end step is like instead of profit it's Adhesion, right. Like something like that?
Yeah. I have questions about the question mark. Like how does the fact that he is a radiant and has breaths and
Allomancy,
however many other things, presumably all of the things he's able to collect, right?
Yeah.
Well, like what is he hoping to like combine all of that investiture into some kind of primordial Adonalsium investiture, or is he hoping to gain some kind of connection, or is he hoping to like tap into some power that I don't know.
I mean, this has been in the fandom for so long, and he's been collecting magics for so long on like every planet that I'm not surprised. But like maybe I don't know, like what Hoid's plan is always very odd and interesting, right?
So I think that's the real question here, like what he plans to do with all this investiture he collects, rather than, well, will it give him anything? Because presumably it will.
Yeah.
Like he's become a radiant and all these things, so he's definitely gained benefits from it. The thing is, what does he want to do with all that?
Well, I read Brandon's answer as like the whole is going to be more than the sum of its parts.
Right. I don't know. I hope it's cool, though. You know, like I hope like when we get to Mistborn Era 4 and Hoid's like, I'm mini Adonalsium. Okay, well that sounds lame, but you know, like I got the 16th form of investiture. I got one from each shard. Ding, 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 ding. Ta-da! I'm something now. I don't know. I don't know.
It would be cool to see the combinations of magic systems used together.
Yeah, because I wonder if there would be like some interference, right? Because Allomancy and Ferrochemy interfere. Like I wonder if there would be any of that here, or maybe that wouldn't be relevant for Hoid. It certainly doesn't seem relevant currently. But
I guess it's also interesting to consider that like he might need to get his hands on something from Ruin, and is that going to be Hemalurgy, or is he going to need to like because he doesn't like Hemalurgy, but maybe he's just like, well, I will spike myself as like the very last thing I do, like this is going to be
that's the last one. And that's why it's in Mistborn Era 4, so then it feels Mistborny, obviously, right?
Sure,
you just do that at the very end. It's like,
but is he? Or is he going to try to find like another place where Ruin's investiture has manifested as an arcana, and it's not quite as potentially distasteful as hemalurgy is.
Maybe on Vax. Nice. Easy.
Sure, yeah.
Easy.
Comment if you remember
Vax.
Vax.
Vax at it.
Comment if you remember Vax. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nice. Cool. So this next question I asked, but I actually just posted Grace's question because I was like, I don't know. I don't really have questions anymore. But Grace did, but she couldn't post it. So I'm like, yeah, I'll post it for you. So this question comes directly from our Herald episodes that we just did. So if you listen to those and you're like, wait, didn't they answer things on the stream? Yeah, that's because we asked these after we recorded. You just hadn't heard them yet. We know Nail was the only Herald to join his order. Based on the vision Dalinar had while touching him, it seemingly happened before the last desolation. Did Nail spend time on Braize while he had a Nahal bond? What happened to his high Spren while he was there? What a good question, Grace. Brandon, good question. So if you end up in Braize as a Herald with a Nahal bond, your Spren most likely would end up there with you. But there are circumstances where the Spren could be left in Shadesmar and be separated from you. Both are possible. That's kind of terrifying for Nail's high Spren, I gotta say. That doesn't sound nice.
Yeah.
Poor Spren.
I mean, that seems like a thing where maybe that's not helping Nail's psychosis when he's like, Spren, tell me good life advice for how to do things. And the Spren's like, yeah, I was tortured too, man. Like, I don't know. You know?
We talked about the potential timeline of like Nail's life according to the visions Dalinar saw.
Yep.
At which point did we say that he would have bonded the Spren?
It's pretty far back. Further back than we expected, I feel like. Yeah, like I know I was surprised, like noting that things were reverse chronological
before the last desolation, right?
But before the last desolation, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there was an opportunity for this hypothetical to happen.
Yeah. Because what was it? Yeah, because the oldest thing was obviously the Oath Pact, and then all the fighting that Dalinar can't distinguish. This is Rhythm of War chapter 47, by the way. And then Nail kneeling before High Spren, and then he's talking about laws, then there's the child one, and then Dalinar saw Nail stepping away from a discarded blade rammed in stone. So presumably pretty late, but not the final desolation.
I mean, honestly, this feels like it happened around the formation of the Radiants.
I can see that.
Yeah, maybe. That is interesting.
So like no dawn times.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find out in Herald flashbacks.
I think so. Like a lot of this stuff is foreshadowing Herald stuff, right? That's how it works.
But to go back to the question, I wonder if it's just a matter of like the oath you were in, like how closely is your soul bound to the soul of your Spren, or if there is a more complicated thing going on.
In terms of like if the Spren goes with you to Braize or if it stays in Shadesmar. So maybe if you're still at like first ideal, second ideal, it stays in Shadesmar, but the higher ones it has to go with you and have a little torturous holiday.
No.
Good old family fun time. And
take a break from all the fighting or Rorschach, get away to somewhere where it's warm. I think it's like cold or warm on Braize. I can't remember anymore.
Why not both?
Yeah, I mean, there's fire, but also like in the physical realm, it's like pretty cold. So you know how there's a common theory that Kaladin will become a Herald, right?
Mm-hmm.
This way we can torture both Kaladin and Syl.
Oh, great!
No, sorry, that just came into my mind, so I had to just tell you guys about that.
Book 5 is going to be the darkest timeline. Let's move on to happier things. Then let's it's this question, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
So unseen forces have maneuvered this question to land upon me.
Yes. And by unseen, it's like you're literally looking right at them. Because I just switched them.
By the unholy power of cut and paste. And so someone asks, was Shallan's mom a herald? And I can read the answer to you. It's like 2 sentences. But instead, because tone is very important.
Tone is very important in this one. Yeah.
I'm gonna let Brandon give you his answer. Take it away, Brandon.
What would make you ask that?
Oh, the chat did. That's why
Why would they ask that?
I don't know.
The Stormfather said that the heralds that's impossible.
Great. So, what do you think that tone means, guys?
Oh my god.
I mean, I
hate
think...
it.
Yeah, Jess is a known Chana Devar, like she does not like that idea.
No.
So clearly Brandon is well aware of this theory. I feel like that is clear.
Yeah. Because it's been around for a long time, but only gained popularity after the Stormlight 5 prologue, right? Rhythm of War and then Stormlight 5 confirmed.
Well, it was
prologue.
really the fact that Talon didn't break that confirmation that really started popularizing it. But certainly the prologue, the prologue gave much more weight to that.
If you are not a regular listener, or if you don't know the Chana Devar theory, the TLDR is that Shallan's mom was actually Chana, the Herald, and tone never broke, as per word of Brandon from last couple of years.
Yep.
And the theory goes, well, if he never broke, then like who let the fuse in? It must have been one of the other heralds who like died, went back, broke because they don't have Tone's mythical endurance. And so who could that be? Well, let's make it Chana because she has
red hair. Easy. That's about
and
it. Really.
Shallan's past is already messy enough.
Let's stick an unmade there too.
Shove another weird thing.
Yeah,
in there.
Sure, easy.
And with the prologue of Stormlight 5, you could argue that it gives more credence to the theory
because the Herald died in it.
We know that the Herald died. And the timeline of when the prologue happened, like when Gavilar's assassination happens, roughly lines up with the death of Shallan's mom.
Yep.
If you look at the timeline.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's like margin for error.
Yeah. Which we had to specifically put on the Coppermind because people were taking maybe our Joff's error bars maybe a little too literally. But
and the prologue does It seems to intentionally draw attention to the fact that Chana was one. Like,
that's true.
Gavilar's walking around.
Yeah, that is true.
And he doesn't mention all of the heralds. He mentions, I think, like Jezrien because of the kingship theme. Mm-hmm. And he mentions Chana. He's like, oh, she was well known for having red hair. Was she? I'm like, that's... Why would you say that?
Just look at how disappointed Jess is in this entire conversation. She's so upset.
And so I don't like the fact that this is becoming more and more legitimate by the day.
I almost felt this was a confirmation, which Jess was like, no, that's not what that says.
Like, until it's in the book, I'm not going to believe it.
Yeah.
It was so funny just reading like everyone's reactions to the Stormlight 5 prologue when it was up in Snapchat. I just was like, wait, was this actually confirmed?
I mean, everyone, really.
Was like, it's not actually a confirmation. Why is everyone saying it? It's as if it were canon.
No, and this swap isn't confirmation either, right?
People were like, Chana Devar is confirmed. I'm like, why? Because they said she has red hair. Guys!
you can very easily read the swab as Brandon being aware of the theory and like very heavily just like trolling people and leading people into
Yeah, just so everyone knows, remember, he is a showman. He really likes trolling by certain things.
Even if he says he doesn't.
Yeah, even if he says he doesn't. It's like, oh, here's 4 extra books. What's up? I'm totally dying.
How many
oh, wait,
shards
no.
have invested on the shard?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. I was there for that one. God. So, yes, Brandon really likes trolling. So, this doesn't confirm anything, but clearly he is very aware of any implications. Like, what? What are you talking about? There's no way. Why would that's impossible.
There is one bit that I want to address very quickly, hopefully.
Okay.
And that's the end where Brandon starts a sentence that would go, the Stormfather said that the Heralds, and then I think he either changes his mind or interrupts himself and goes, oh no, that's impossible. And I've been trying to think, like, what is the thing, like, what is the impossible thing that the Stormfather claims? Like, what is impossible for the Heralds? Because I don't think the Stormfather talks about them having a child. Do you know that for a fact?
So it depends whether Brandon is referring to the Stormfather in Stormlight 5's prologue and what that Stormfather claimed, right? Which I do believe that is the Stormfather, but like, is he saying what the Stormfather claimed in that prologue that's impossible, or if something else that the Stormfather claimed? Because, like, certainly in the Stormlight 5 prologue, the Stormfather is just like, oh yeah, Gavilar, yeah, the Heralds are gone. They're not Heralds. Oh, well, I don't know what you're talking about. So, like, that would, by that logic, it would be,
oh, sure,
right? It would be impossible because the Heralds were never there in the first place, and the Stormfather is just lying, right?
Okay, sure.
I can't really think of anything more likely than that.
I can buy that, sure.
By the gods above and the gods of cut and paste, Evgeni got the cursed question and I got the fun cryptic question. So, Quantum Shenanigans says, why do Cryptics have such a bad rap amongst other Spren? The contrast between what Spren think about Cryptics compared to how they come across to the reader is hilarious. They're these utterly guileless beings who never try to fight anyone or conquer anything in Shadesmar, and who can't lie without audibly buzzing, and yet other Spren talk about them as if they're Machiavellian geniuses bent on dominating everyone else.
This is such a good question, too.
I love this question.
Brandon says, I love that you picked up on this. There's a couple of things going on here. One is that the Cryptics are just kind of their own weird little club. I mean, all of the various different Spren are, to an extent, but the Cryptics are the ones of those that are extra. You know, that word, extra. They're extra. I had to cut a scene that was very fun that would explain some of this, but you get a little bit of it. I reuse some of the same concepts in Rhythm of War when Shallan is around a lot of them. They can get to be a bit much, and because they will start talking in numbers and in mathematical formulas, they often seem like they're planning something, when in reality, they're just not quite getting what's going on in the same way. And it's kind of this. When you meet somebody that you don't quite get, sometimes you assume things about them. That said, there have been some very smart, dangerous Cryptics in the past, and the Spren have long memories, so the reputation isn't entirely unearned. But it is perhaps too liberally applied as a stereotype to an entire race. That never happens, when a small percentage of them might have earned this reputation individually.
Fascinating.
It's a really good question.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a question that I had coming out of Rhythm of War in particular, because up till then we've only really had Patton, and it's like, okay, Patton might just be like this and be like fun and quirky, and the other Spren are like, Cryptics, I don't know, and then Patton's just like, you know, the nice guy that really likes to get along with everyone. But then when we see all the other ones as well, it's like, why do people think this about you compared to like some of the other Spren types who have done more in the Shadesmar past that and kind of really deserve their reputation like the Honor Spren do? the Cryptics just didn't seem to deserve the reputation that they got. But I think someone made the joke, either in like the Discord chat or like somewhere, that they're basically the theater kids of the Shadesmar lands, and like I thought that was like a very apt description.
Yeah, the honor Spren definitely seem a lot more terrifying than what we see from the crypt, or the ink Spren, I might say.
Yeah, the ink. I mean, I would love to see some more ink Spren stuff and seeing how they interact and stuff. But they're dangerous. But I feel like
the honor Spren literally have tried to take over all of Shadesmar. Like they are the elite of Shadesmar. They are the conquerors. They've just done very badly at it.
Yeah,
and everyone hates them for it now.
Yeah. And honestly, we can see why exactly every other Spren would hate the honor Spren. It's very clear why. But I can definitely believe there being some very smart and dangerous cryptics that have done some dangerous things. And when you're immortal, right? Essentially, as a Spren, you have long memories, and so you'll remember that.
There is apparently a cryptic city in Shadesmar, and I do really wish to go to the cryptic city and just see like a full city of them. That would be really fun, I think.
Yeah, like if lasting integrity was strange and architecturally, and there was so much going on there. Imagine what a cryptic city is like.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be full on.
It would be insane.
Right? Yeah. And I just want to say that as a math professor, most people don't like math, and I feel like that's why Spren also generally don't like math. I think this is a confirmation that Spren carry that same human bias of not liking math, and so weird like Spren that talk in math, people don't like. That's fact. Okay.
But I mean, at this point, if it's humans and Spren that have an issue with it, is it a bias, or are we all collectively picking up on the fact that math is of the enemy?
Oh yeah, because math is all about passion, right? Oh wait, that's
We're pretty passionate about math.
Well, okay, that's true. Cool. What a great question.
So MS07B3 said, given Demoux' religious fervor, is there a reason he's not a Ghostblood? Which is a very interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
And Brandon said, yes, I might get into it someday. I will not get into it now.
Yep, sounds about right. That's a very good question because like Demoux was one of like the first people like propagating survivorism essentially, right? And like really believed in Kelsier. So
I wonder if they had a falling out of sorts, because by the time we see Demoux, we see him as a member of the 17th Shard, the in-world organization, the 17th Shard, which are known for their let's get this straight. Yeah, the neutrality, not interventionist policy.
Ghostbloods are not that. That's for sure.
Do we know that the 17th Shard are not interventionists, or do we know that Frost, who is kind of friendly with them, is an interventionist? Like, I don't know if we've extrapolated too far on that.
I feel like they definitely don't act as much as other organizations like the Ghostbloods would, right? And so it would make sense to me that they and the Ghostbloods would not be fans of each other. How about that?
And that's kind of what I was driving at, right? I think that
Demoux joined them, and maybe he was a Ghostblood for a bit, and then is like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, good question. I hadn't really thought of that, but that's a very good question.
I mean, I imagine we'll have the answer sometime. Either maybe in Era 3, because it seems like the Ghostbloods are gaining more prominency, like in the Cosmere in general. Or wherever they show up next.
Yeah.
Kind of in this answer, I feel like we might not. Like, we might get more generalized understanding about the 17th Shard and what they're doing and be able to extrapolate a bit better on that. But just like the fact that Brandon says he might get into it someday makes me think that like we might not actually see Demoux again. Or if we do, it might be in another like tiny scene like this where it's just kind of a cameo more than anything. Like I don't see us like delving deep into like his character and what he's been doing. And, like,
that's
where he's going. I don't think he's coming up as like a major character again.
And Brandon hasn't seemed to be very like forthcoming about what the 17th Shard, like the Herald organization, is doing.
Nope. He said we asked him about this when he came on Shardcast after Rhythm of War, and he's like, Silverlight, and you'll see him. So
we keep shoving all of our hopes and dreams into that Silverlight novella, right? We get Chris stuff, we get 17th Shard stuff, we get Demoux stuff. Yeah.
It's really great that we have a name that basically means nothing to anyone who's an outsider. And even if you've read the books, you're like, 17shard.com, what the hell even is that? And it's like, yeah, it really hasn't been very important to the books, has it? The only advantage is if you organize your subscription feed in A to Z. 17th Shard is usually first because it has a numeral in it. Ha! Take that. So that's nice. Speaking of the 17th Shard, Ladderstyle asks, will we see any more of the 17th Shard soon, or are they more of a Dragonsteel / Era 4 kind of thing? Brandon, you're not going to see a ton of them in Book 5, and you're not going to see them soon. So, again, as Brandon did say about Silverlight stuff, so.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. Yeah, so our name will be even more of a misnomer. I mean, wouldn't it have been funny if we were like called the Ghostbloods and then Alex was like, oh my god, I hate it.
I quit.
Yeah, I quit.
But after definitely not having taken a break to talk about Star Wars, we move on to the next question, who comes from Letters Words. I know words and I know worlds.
Evidently.
Who asks, the Fused only use 9 of the surges. They don't use Adhesion. And Dramonio describes Adhesion as not a true surge. Does this mean, in its original form on Ashyn, surge binding had no equivalent to Adhesion, and it was created by Honor later? Bren says, that is a valid way of theorizing, and I would encourage you to go that direction. Dramonio is not based, which is what I was going to say, biased. So take those 2 sentences as separate things. Do be aware she's very, very biased. And also, your theorizing could bear fruit going that direction.
But wasn't an Ishar a bondsmith on Ashyn?
Yeah, he was. Huh.
So that must mean there's some adhesion-y thing, right?
I mean,
it depends on the definition of a bondsmith.
Yeah. I mean, it sure does. What is a surge?
No, and it also depends on the definition of adhesion itself, right? Because there's like spiritual adhesion and like regular adhesion, and we've seen both of them now, and they're very different.
Just a little bit.
Both of them are like the same surge, but sure.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say something, and I have a different thought. Because like a lot of the spiritual adhesion is to do with connection, right? Yeah. So maybe what Ishar had on Ashyn was less like what adhesion is in the present day, and is much more a more pure connection-based magic.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. That's for a long time. That's been my theory. Like,
I buy that.
Because asking whether there was adhesion on Ashyn is a bit like asking whether the Surge of Illumination was present on Yolen, because light weaving, right?
Yeah. Okay. That's a fair point. Yeah. What even does that mean, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, questioner asks, did Odium have a lasting effect on Nightblood? Brandon, yes. But basically everything has a lasting effect, right? Yes, Odium had a lasting effect on Nightblood, but not a significant one.
Brandon the Master Troll here.
Yep. This is a typical
correct.
Reddit answer.
Technically correct is the best kind of correct.
I assume this is in relation to like Odium being stabbed.
Yeah.
With Nightblood.
Yeah.
Okay. And like
yeah.
consuming a shard's pure energy. Like, yeah, I do feel like that's gonna have an effect.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
So I suspect what the questioner was going for here was, does the fact that Nightblood has consumed, Braize's vessel or a significant portion of Odium's investiture or anything like that, would that have like any kind of odious effect on Nightblood or its intent or its powers or whatever? And I think the answer to that is a clear no, but it will have an effect in the sense that Nightblood absorbs investiture from anything that he stabs. And so, yes, the effect is Nightblood is now more powerful. But it's not like qualitatively different from the way it was before.
Sure.
I do wonder if, because Nightblood like actually was full, right, after consuming Braize, which is the first time that we've kind of seen him, seen Nightblood in that state. So I wonder if there's kind of two things. Is like, if Nightblood's like hunger is now sated, is it just gonna like go down slowly and then he can only consume a little bit to like reach that top again, or is it going to go down completely and he kind of has this vast amount of hunger again, or is it just going to expand how much he can consume in total?
Ooh, there's a lot of Nightblood mechanics there. They're good questions. I think
it's Nightblood's stomach.
Yeah, Nightblood stomach mechanics here. I would say that would be the title of the video, but that's not the title of the video. We're going to talk about silver in a bit. Don't worry. I feel like eventually he will be like, even like probably in a few days, he'll be like, give me Investiture. I'm hungry again.
Yeah.
I don't know if like this will change his Investiture stomach size. What does that mean? Like,
I mean, I feel like anything that he does consume has that effect.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of this super old Nightblood episode, which is a ton of fun and also really outdated.
Yeah. Go listen to that. That's
before the video time.
Oh, was it before video time or even before, or was it the Shard Keepers, the one way back?
No, it was before video, but after Oathbringer.
Okay. I'll put a card. I'll put a card on the upper. Nope, that way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, Deku12345 asked, in the Stormlight 5 prologue, wouldn't Gavilar have recognized that Zeth was holding an honor blade? He was just studying them earlier that day, and Brandon said Gavilar was busy being killed. And Adam follows up with, that's a pretty good reason not to notice something. And Brandon says, I think it's possible that he would have noticed that, yes.
I hate when my schedule just fills up with being killed.
Calendar event being killed in 30 minutes. Oh, man.
It's an all-day event.
Yeah. I mean, he did have a lot of meetings. He's a little distracted, too, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The good thing is, the calendar after that is completely blank.
And, like, also, like, before
hopefully
he was actually killed, that fight was insane. I mean, he was trying to process what Zeth was doing with the, like, ceiling and the Stormlight and everything that was going on at the same time.
Yeah. It is though funny the more we learn about things that like Jezrien's blade is very small compared with like these massive shard blades. It's like, it's a shard blade. I'm like, I mean, yeah, but I guess you'd still call it a shard blade when you see someone's eyes being burned. I was like, I guess it's a shard blade. I'm not gonna worry about that.
And it cuts through anything.
Yeah. Cool. So Sapphire Bombay asks, in The Way of Kings, when Jasnah gifts Shallan the Book of Endless Pages, she mentions that someone dear to her once made a very sincere attempt at converting her to Vorinism. Who is he, and how did he manage to appeal to her senses? Brandon, well, wait for the Jasnah flashbacks. Adam, did I miss something about it being a he, or did they assume a gender? Brandon, they're making some assumptions, I believe. And apparently Jasnah does refer to the person who tried to convert her as a he. I kind of forgot about this, so that'll be cool to see.
And the Yasna flashbacks are the ones that are furthest away.
Yeah, book 10. Book 10.
I really want to get to those.
Yeah.
But also, I was color biased. So.
I will say I'm much more interested in Herald flashbacks than Yasna's flashbacks. And so if we have Herald flashbacks and then book 10 is Yasna, I mean, I would assume Brandon has a plan to make that be very important to the plot, but I'm just like, how could that be more cool than Herald flashbacks? I don't know.
I mean, the lunacy thing might be
very important. That's
some really big deal.
Yeah, I mean, probably is. Speaking of big deals, why don't you read this next one, Evgeni?
Speaking of big deals, this is not one. So
the most arcane of BS right here in this next swap. I'm so excited.
There's like 3 people on this planet who
No, we've talked about it in WoB episodes before.
Yeah, we
solidly dozens. Okay.
So Mori Willow, member of our community, says that you, Brandon, once mentioned something called honors purposes to Argent, also known as Evgeni, also known as this guy. Are these purposes the same or related to the core theme of each of the Night Radiant orders? For example, unity, protection, justice, etc. And Brandon correctly identifies that gives me a lot of wiggle room. Related to, yes, but that's a wiggly answer.
Wasn't our chat like, Maury, why would you ask something like that? You should know better.
You should know.
You should know better than to and related thus, in your question. So
thus continues the saga and the legacy of us trying to find out anything about honors purposes.
Doesn't this double our amount of information about honors purposes?
No, this is like the third or the fourth.
The third or the fourth. Okay.
Now, mind you, like none of them add to the total amount of knowledge. But yeah, I was at a signing several years back, and the recorder wasn't on for like my first 3 questions or whatever, and one of those questions was I don't remember what the question was, but Brandon made a reference to something he called honors purposes in the context of like 10 being important to the Shard, or to honor. And I couldn't remember the answer well enough to transcribe it, and for several years since then, I've been trying to like find out like a sentence definition of those honors purpose, and just nothing. No, the quest continues.
And I believe in a WoB episode, I added to the mythology that there's also honors porpoises, which are the space whales that Kaladin will get in the back half. And we'll train that squad, obviously.
Very important.
Yes. But that's fanon. That's not a fact. But honors purposes are evidently a thing, maybe. When will this matter? Probably never. I feel like.
Yeah, I'm surprised Brandon even remembered it, unless his answer was just wiggly because he recognized the word related to and has no idea what 100% he's talking about.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I am always surprised. Like, Brandon definitely doesn't remember timeline things, but random world building factoids, he's very good at that. Like, I still remember like a year or so ago where like someone asks, it's like, oh, who would you go on an adventure with? And someone's like mentioning Axes, and Brandon's just like, oh no, he has the Curse of Kind. That is a bad idea. And it's like, that doubled our Curse of Kind knowledge right there. It's like, oh, that's a thing. That's right, it is a thing. We kind of forgot because it hasn't mattered at all to anything.
At this point, I wonder if honors purposes. So I see it as one of two ways this can go. Way number one is this is not something Brandon really intended to reveal at the time he did reveal it to me, and so Honor's purposes are a big deal, and now every time someone asks him about it, he's like, "What?" The other option is there's some bullshit he made up on the spot, and now anytime someone asks him about it, he's like, "What?"
I don't know. I'll add some more to there. Karen, add it to the wiki.
Maybe I should bug Karen. Maybe she will
ask
be
her about Honor's purposes.
More pliable.
Yeah.
Tell me about Honor's purposes.
Is there a page that is called
Honor's purposes?
Or a section on Honor's page.
I'm dying.
Yeah, you are dying. Cool. Let's go to the next one.
Okay, so Longshot 97. In the Stormlight archives, cryptics are often humming to tunes that denote their emotional state. A rhythm of curiosity is cited, and Patton often hums when he is curious. The same goes for a rhythm of confusion. Are cryptics humming to the rhythms like the singers? If not, what are they humming? Brandon. They are humming to something very akin to the singer rhythms. I would call them the same with an asterisk.
Asterisk
The return of asterisk.
Hey!
Ravenna's Blade.
Ravenna's Blade. Wow, that I am making a Words of Brandon playlist on the channel, and so if you want to look at all the Words of Brandon, you can go look at that joke somewhere in some of our Words of Brandon episodes. There's many, many, many hours of them, but
it's an interesting question. It's a very interesting question.
I am kind of surprised that there is an asterisk to this. Like, it seemed pretty... It seems like it could be just pretty straightforward, that it's like they're singing to the same rhythms because they're from the same place and like have the same pure tones and things like that in where they are. Yeah. So I'm kind of surprised that there is an asterisk, which makes me wonder how relevant the asterisk actually is.
Maybe just like a very, very minor qualitative difference because they're Spren rather than singers or something. Maybe.
Or they're in the cognitive realm and the singers are in the physical, and so they're like mostly getting like the rhythm which comes from the spiritual is like filtered slightly differently between the realms or whatever.
Which obviously phase shifts the tone, obviously. I don't know. Yeah, hard to say what the asterisk is, but I mean, that's very interesting that they're basically the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so GK Pseudo asked, could primer cubes be used to store powers besides the schedule ones, such as surge binding? And Brandon says, yeah, this is theoretically possible. Starting off with that. So much fun to have in the space age that I'm not going to let you have yet. You have one more Mistborn book, one more Stormlight book, 3 more Mistborn books, and 5 more Stormlight books before I'm going to let you have that, but keep theorizing.
In addition to any number of other Cosmere things. In addition,
like,
but those are the main
projects.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe 3 more Mistborn books out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's very reasonable. Maybe you couldn't just use Et metal. Maybe you have to do something slightly different. Like different god metal-y things to make it work or something. But
yeah.
But
yeah, like I do wonder with the primer cubes, like it is cool how in Bands of Mourning the primer cubes do allow for like an expanded use of Allomancy for alchemy by other people who don't necessarily have that power or any power, and same with the medallions. And it does make me wonder how Scadrial like centric and based they are, or whether they can easily just be transferred to other systems and used as well. So that'll be interesting to see. Mixings of magics.
I mean, you could, like, a technological use of surge binding. I mean, I guess we kind of can have that with Fabrials to, like, create effects of surge binding, potentially. But, I mean, still, primer cubes would still be very useful because, I mean, who knows how the Spren situation is going to work with Fabrials. Maybe you could make a half shard with a primer cube.
Oh, no. Back to that. Okay.
Are they Radiant Spren or are they not? Okay, that doesn't have anything to do with anything here.
So glad that we still don't have that answer.
I know, right? It's classic.
We're gonna ask so many half shard questions in the gap between Stormlight 5 and 6.
Yeah, when there's just a break of books and we'll be like, Brandon, why did you put out 4 books in 2023 if there's this big gap of nothing as you're writing all 3 Era 3 things? And we're just like, all right, Cremcast, let's do half shards again. Like, all right, let's get into it again.
I mean, I think that break is, like, we're still going to be able to discuss a lot of what we won't be able to discuss because the secret projects are coming out so quickly and things like that.
That's probably true, yeah.
See, I feel like we'll get to that break and then Brandon will just drop another satisfaction.
That's probably true. That does seem more likely, doesn't it? Not having Brandon books to talk about is... You don't want to short sell Brandon's writing ability. That is always a losing bet,
yeah.
I feel like.
And maybe in that break, like if we don't have any more Brandon books to talk about, maybe we might have some adaptations to talk about. Who knows?
Oh, God. Nightmare.
That's foreshadowing.
Ooh, yes. There is movie stuff that we're going to talk about in the next episode, kind of. But it's kind of cool, though, too. So stay tuned to the next episode. We won't talk about it here. Tee-hee-hee. All right, this next one asks, if a planet has no sentient life, does it have a cognitive representation? If not, would the cognitive area generated in Shadesmar whenever sentience appeared there? Brandon, people have started to talk about this because it is a legit thing. So if there's no sapient life or even sentient life, if it's a dead rock out in space and no one knows it's there, its manifestation in Shadesmar will be basically nothing. I say basically because the shards are aware of it, so there's probably going to be some bit of something that manifests, but until the attention of sapient beings starts focusing on it, it's not going to manifest very much in Shadesmar. It might be like a patch of ground that is a couple feet wide. That's really funny. It is going to start growing as soon as they do, presumably the sapient's being starts thinking about it, which distorts space in Shadesmar and makes routes between planets change and more distance come between them, which is very odd and very, very interesting, and it's one of my favorite parts about the whole thing. It should kind of break your brain and shouldn't really make sense with our physics. Great. Have fun, map makers!
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is kind of what we expected. That's kind of interesting that, like, oh, if the shards know about a place, then there would be a tiny representation of it. Which is kind of neat.
Realistically, the shards know about all of the places to like some small extent because they can sense their investiture throughout the entire Cosmere.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah. Just how much are the shards aware of their power that was of Adenalcium that got colored there? That is very far away. Like, I don't know.
Well, enough to apparently spawn like
I guess
a patch of ground per planet.
That's cool, but yeah, you gotta have a space station on that moon or something in the middle of nowhere, and then people will start thinking about it.
Well, you don't have to have a space station there. People just have to think about it.
I guess that's true. So I guess that means, like, as astronomers are discovering places, then their cognitive aspect will slightly grow, and the more people who think about it, their cognitive aspect grows. That's very cool.
And I wonder if it goes the other way as well. So say, like, someone found an island on the other side of Roshar, but then over 5,000 years, because of desolations, people forgot about it, whether that would shrink in Shadesmar.
Yeah,
and I think it would, because I think Isaac might have talked about the canals in Shadesmar, and about how those will actually disappear if there's changes to the land masses in the physical.
We literally have that question about the island on the other side of Roshar.
Yeah, like I know there's an island I know there's a question about an island on the other side of Roshar, but I thought that was more about if people knew about it, not if people forgot about it.
the question is if there I think the question is if there were people there, obviously it would have a cognitive representation, and so what happens if those people die, right? And no one else knows about this island. And the answer is, well, it's going to eventually like shrink.
Yeah. I remember this. Yeah,
I remember this. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Next question comes from an unknown questioner who says that stone is hard to awaken, partially because it's never been alive. On Roshar, there are tons of stone soulcast corpses, right? Because when Deadeyes die, sometimes they turn them into stone statues. Would
someone
those be
soulcast them
easier?
into that. They don't like just spontaneously do
that. Yeah. Would those be easier? Has Vasher thought of this? And Brandon says yes. I would say that he has, and yes, that would be easier.
I wonder if that is actually the basis for the Deadeyes statues.
The Phantoms?
And that was where he got the idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like he wanted like stone powerful soldier dudes, right? And like presumably he wouldn't have like actually been able to awaken them when he first went to Roshar, right? But maybe that gave him the idea of, oh, I'll put a lifeless in stone and maybe that'll work. Yeah, I could see maybe some connection there, maybe.
Well, even if he could awaken them, he can't like bring 50,000 Light Eyes corpses back to Nalthis to be his army.
Well, not with that attitude.
I
don't know, like over time, there's a lot of statues. You just have a really big caravan.
I'm getting like images of like what would a Gavilar statue would be like if it were awakened.
That's Odium's the real Odium's champion. It's Gavilar's statue reawakened by Vasher, and that turns into Odium's champion. Nice.
Love it. Love it.
I actually kind of want fan art of that.
I kind of want that too. And then we'll be like, oh, that's why Vasher's here on Roshar. Good to know he was good for something.
Although they're trying to explain Investiture to Kaladin without him understanding anything.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Gavilar's back. No, it's just a statue. Don't worry, guys. It's fine. It's fine.
Fake Gavilar.
Stone Gavilar. Cool.
Does Nightblood have a favorite flavor or type of investiture? In addition, does different investiture taste different? Brandon. Yes, it would, but the thing is, when Nightblood is eating investiture, he is generally not in a mental state to really pay attention to that. He's not what you would call a connoisseur. He is a glutton. Not that the two are mutually exclusive, but kind of making a distinction there. Because of that, if you asked him, he wouldn't even really be able to remember. Because that time when he's really drinking it in, he is not himself, so to speak. But it would taste different to him if he were able to pay attention and to eloquently speak about those experiences.
Brandon, I would say that when Nightblood is unsheathed, that maybe that is the true him, and maybe this sheath self. Maybe so that is.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
Okay.
I feel like preservation is like a minty, maybe peppermint type of flavor.
That's how you want to talk about this?
Yeah.
You want to go through with each flavor? I don't think they actually have physical flavors, Evgeni. They have spiritual flavors, okay?
Ask me how much I care.
I'm totally on board with this. So I think Ruin would probably be like spicy.
Spicy, yeah, hot spicy.
Like I think like minty and spicy like complement each other as well.
You know, I know Odium's would be very spicy.
So I think
it's too plain for Odium. Like I think you need like something worse for Odium.
I was wondering about Odium, because I agree with you. I think minty and spicy are a great combination for Ruin and preservation. I think Odium might be like Sour Patch Kids, like sour.
Look, guys, you're the people who are doing 2 recordings. If you guys want to go down this path, I'm not going to stop you, okay?
I feel like Odium's like super duper bitter. Right?
Oh, okay.
It's just the worst. It's like that, like eating a lemon. If you get it in the back of your throat, like that type of stuff, so bad.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Right. 10 to
Gosh,
go.
If preservation is minty, then what is honor? Because honor also feels like I'm imagining like a minty bubblegum, like fresh winter air type of commercial, you know?
Oh. That is not how I would describe honor, I don't think.
No?
No, I'd probably go for something that's like pretty like standard savory. Enjoyable, but like kind of plain. You know what you're gonna get.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty much the same every time.
Fresh, fruity, citrusing maybe.
What's endowment taste like?
Oh, citrus. Oh, Endowment might be the citrus.
Yeah, I would go with endowment being citrus.
That works more for endowment than it does for cultivation.
Oh, you know what mercy is? Mercy is sweet.
Like overpowering sweet.
Like yeah, like very powerful sugary sweetness, and it's nice, but it's also kind of dangerous.
Okay, what about ambition? Let's go.
What's an ambitious flavor?
A recipe that you try that just doesn't quite work out.
So first of all, I think, can we agree that autonomy is like not a single flavor? It's like
each
like
avatar
full,
has a different
like,
flavor.
meal type of thing. Yeah.
Obviously.
Ambition.
God damn it!
We
guys.
can't do hot again. I don't know. Let's
put in the comments what you think ambition's flavor would be. Put
let's
down
leave it
below.
up to you.
Yeah. This is how we get engagement, right? Yeah. Put down below.
Okay. Finally, we've made it to silver.
Yeah.
So, Ace Heat, who's also on the server, if I'm not wrong.
Yep, that's right.
Says, would it be possible to use an aluminum spike to permanently kill a Spren? And Brent says, no, that's not going to work. Silver, on the other hand, there's some possibility.
I remember our Discord chat was freaking out by this one. It's like, wait, what?
Just explosion.
Just casually throw that out there.
It's interesting that aluminum definitely wouldn't work, though.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, because like it doesn't kill things, right? It's just sort of like
it's a blocking agent. It's not a killing agent.
I'm reminded of the question about whether you can kill Miles 100 lives with aluminum. And Brandon's like, no, like the wound is not gonna like heal, like it will heal around the aluminum, but it will not like expel the bullet out like a normal bullet and then heal. The aluminum is gonna be stuck in there, and like you have to fish it out before you can heal. So
but silver, on the other hand, can apparently have an active effect that is
I'm surprised with this. And this maybe ties into the next question as well. But because it's like silver could kill a Spren, and like we've just had a book where we found that the anti-investiture can kill a Spren. So 2 things. How are these things similar? But secondly, why did they go through all of the work to make anti-investiture instead of just getting some silver and spiking people?
Yeah, and it's not even like it's gold, right? They're one of the super rare metals.
Right.
It's silver.
They're still casting, it doesn't matter.
As long as it's not aluminum, you can totally soul cast it, right? Exactly. Or soul cast into it, right? Because no, can you soul cast things into aluminum? You just can't soul cast aluminum itself.
Yeah, you can soul cast into aluminium. You can't soul cast aluminium itself.
Yeah.
Shallan's and her brother's jewelry were aluminum that was like something was cast into aluminum.
Yep. Yeah, so I was taking a shower this morning before this. I'm like, wow, it's just so weird. I think it's just more weird because silver doesn't have an allomantic effect. Like it just doesn't do anything in the metallic arcs. But like, I suppose that it's fine for metal to do different things. Like there's more than 16 metals. Like, sure, that's not necessarily bad. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird, I'd say.
I think we should read the next question.
Yeah, let's read the next question. So the next question is from I Can Banter. Me too. we know aluminum blocks investiture. Does silver block anti-investiture? Brandon, so silver has its own weird mechanics that I'm slowly exploring in the Cosmere. That's not an answer to your question. I'm sorry. So that didn't really say anything other than that there are weird silver mechanics.
Because we've only really seen silver on Threnody so far. And that on Threnody, it is used to kill the shades.
And because there was the chain in Celebrant that was silvery, but I don't think we know it's silver. And there was a thing with a cognitive anomaly as well, talked about in the Rhythm of War epigraphs, right? Am I getting that right?
We don't know that it's silver. We do know that it's silvery in color, and it is. Raboniel says that it can be used to anchor one through cognitive anomalies or into cognitive anomalies.
Late stage Cosmere is gonna be crazy, guys. There's so much going on here. What does that even mean? It's so weird. Presumably, to kill a Spren, you can't just use a silver spike. Presumably, you have to do something with it, right? Silver by itself would not work. They would have figured that out, I feel like.
Yeah, and now this is reminding me of something that makes it makes no sense at all. But
vampires?
You said silver spike, and I'm like, there's a title of the Black Company that's a silver spike, and it's a very weird silver spike. And I'm like,
you have been on a Black Company.
Yeah,
trip
always.
What do they do on Threnody again? Do they have to do something special to the silver there, or it just works?
No, I think it just works.
They just put it around either
and shades can't go past it. Yeah.
Or
I wonder if it's because Spren are also cognitive beings.
That was my thinking.
It would work on a Spren, which makes me wonder: could you kill Calcio with a silver spike?
That's a great question.
That's a good question. So, do we think
I'm gonna add it to my questions list?
If you made a thing of silver around you, that your Spren couldn't pass it? Let's ask some questions in the next spoiler stream, specifically about some silver mechanics, and see if we can wheedle anything out of here.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely adding that Cosmere question to my list of things.
A month after the Lost Meadow, people were going to be asking silver questions.
Yeah, maybe. You don't know.
They will definitely not have any.
I will. I don't know.
You now have a question to ask.
I guess that's true. I should probably write it down, huh? All right. I actually am going to write it down.
Yeah, I wrote down that Kelsier question.
It feels to me like early on, around Shadows of Self? No, the other Shadows.
Shadows for Silence?
Shadows for Silence.
Yeah.
Shadows for the Silent Self. Brandon was exploring the idea of silver being special.
Yeah.
In a non-allomantic capacity.
Correct.
Right? And it feels like he has now maybe either solidified the idea or retconned it a little bit so that silver is important on a global Cosmere scale. And so he's looking for places, including the swab or these swabs, to introduce some silver lore and some silver canon in the same way that he did with aluminum, a decade ago.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's going to be not investiture blocking like aluminum, but just it has effects on maybe cognitive things like that. Somehow.
Huh. I was going to say investiture destroying, but I like the idea that it's not necessarily a destructive metal, but one that interacts in interesting ways with the cognitive realm.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
I think that's more plausible than it being just a purely destructive metal, right?
Yeah, for anti-investiture to be important, and Brandon's talked is I needed a thing to be very powerful like that. Silver can't do that, but maybe... Okay, so here's a dark thought. So you're one of the Tashiki torturing Nodum, okay?
Oh.
All right, okay, walk with me here. So that's great, right? So maybe pouring silver into like Nodum in the cognitive realm is like not nice to him. Like he probably doesn't like it, which might be like, I don't know if you had a silver sword and you stabbed a shade with it, it would die, but it might be very unpleasant, right? So like maybe getting the silver into a Spren is also very unpleasant, but not necessarily deadly. But you could maybe hurt them enough so that they become Deadeyes, essentially.
Tukari,
Oh.
not Tashika.
Oh, Tukari. Yeah, right. Tashika is the places with the
group chats.
Yeah. The group span reads. That's right. Yeah, sorry. Tukar, yeah.
I like the idea of it being something that kind of affects the environment of like the Cosmere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know how you could make this in such a way to kill a Spren, but it's just...
Yeah.
Brandon must have just been so happy. It's like, silver on the other hand. I'm giving you a factoid, and here's your factoid for the day. Cool. Evgeni, you're up next with Frost.
Yes, I'm up next. Yes, this is me, the next. And I will read a question from Luz Theron Telescope.
Yep.
And the question is, what does Hoid, in his letter to Frost, say, as you are now essentially immortal, with our emphasis added on essentially?
Wave King's first letter, by the way, in case you forgot.
Epigraphs.
Yep.
To our understanding, as a dragon, Frost would have always been ageless, thus functionally immortal. Is this understanding incorrect, or is there something else going on with him? And Brandon says, there is something else going on with him. That is a good question.
What does that even mean?
Like, I think a lot of people have taken this to say, like, maybe Frost is now a Dawn Shard, but I think there was a recent wob that contradicted that. I'm not sure.
I think we are getting a Dawn Shard wob in these next two, yeah? There is a Dawn Shard wob.
Can I clarify
So who knows,
something?
but I think that's where the question was headed, because it seems to be a popular theory.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Jess?
When it says that, like, we know that dragon have always been ageless, is it specifically ageless that Brandon has said in the past? Because I think that ageless and immortal are two separate things. Immortal implies you can't die. Ageless just means you keep, like, you live without aging.
Brandon has...
I found a wob. Okay, so I found Dragon Immortal was a fantastic search. So the first one I found was from Sydney in 2017, where Brandon, this is paraphrased, the way I've written dragons in the Cosmere, all dragons are naturally, functionally immortal. They can be killed, but they don't age.
Okay.
And Brandon often...
Yeah.
makes that distinction, like immortality versus functional immortality. In fact, there is a really interesting immortality wob somewhere, 5 years ago or whatever, where he like lists a bunch of immortal entities such as the Lord Ruler and the Returned and things like that, and talks about their flavor of immortality. But the distinction between real immortality and functional immortality is one that he makes often. And functional is you can be killed, but on your own you cannot die.
So
okay.
So would we assume that now essentially immortal is Hoid is saying, oh, instead of the usual dragon stuff, you are now a step above, and maybe now you cannot be killed for whatever reason.
That is kind of how I'm taking this.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way
I
you can to make sense, right?
Because otherwise the now wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, right.
Well,
So
and that's what the question is about, right?
Yeah. So
It makes me so it makes me think of Hoid himself, who is
That's
more
true.
than functionally immortal. Like I don't know if he's probably not indestructible, right?
Nightblood will still kill him, but like most normal
Nightblood will
things,
still kill him. A shard can probably still end him, but he's not like decapitation is not a problem.
It can't be one of those things where, like how Blushweaver died, like returned kind of functionally immortal, but like you still slit their throat, right? Like that, it's not a problem for Hoid. And so, okay, something like that. Maybe something similar to Hoidness,
similar or even identical. Like if
shard stuff.
But like we don't know the current whereabouts of Hoid's Dawn Shard. We don't know the current state of Hoid's Dawn Shard.
That's certainly true. Mm-hmm.
And so it is possible that Frost has it.
Yep. And Jess, do you want to read this next one that I just put up here? That might be relevant.
Okay, so the next question is by GK Pseudo. Do we know anyone who is currently a Dawn Shard other than Risen? Brandon, yes, you have met people who are at least one who is currently a Dawn Shard other than Risen. So we've met at least one person.
Well, like, we haven't met Frost, but, like, maybe he would say, it's like, I mean, you know Frost, so whatever, that's fine. Like, there's some wiggle room there. I mean,
it's not canon, but we kind of have met him in The Traveler.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So,
like, I think it's plausible that Frost could be a Dawn Shard, right? Like, that's totally believable.
Oh, you know what's even cooler?
What?
Okay, I like this a lot. I like this medium. Hoid's Dawn Shard seems to be kind of related to the concept of immutability, right? Of not like Hoid's soul is kind of frozen. At least that's how I picture it. Frozen in the state that it was when he picked up the Dawn Shard, and now also like even if you kill him, even if you damage his soul, the soul like restores itself back to that form that it was.
Okay,
that's how I think of his Dawn Shard working. Immutability is very compatible with not intervention, which is Frost's big deal.
Oh, so maybe he actually has that Dawn Shard itself. Maybe. Oh, that's interesting. And Hoid would clearly know where that Dawn Shard went, evidently. Like, maybe Hoid even gave it to Frost. I don't know.
Now, Frost, you old reptile, that you can't eat bacon and also are functionally, essentially immortal.
I mean, it easily could be a thing where Frost is like, I will take this so other idiots can't use it. That sounds very in character for him.
That sounds like very Frost,
Yeah, that really does, right? Like, you know what? I'll take the hit so other people don't have to. Also, I'm a dragon, so that's pretty great too. What are you gonna do? Do we have any other ideas of who, at least one who is currently a Dawn Shard? Like, if we've literally met them, and we take that word literally, like, I don't know who else could be. Like, that's tricky.
I mean, I have to acknowledge another theory that I find absolutely detestable.
Oh no.
Kelsier.
Oh,
I don't.
That's
I don't know
the survived Dawn Shard that doesn't
whatever. Yeah. I don't know the backing behind that theory outside of, hey, this would be cool. But it has to be mentioned.
So, Radatata asked, you said in previous swabs that there have been champions of other shards, like what Dalinar and Odium are doing in their deal. Would the battle between Elend and Marsh or Vin and Marsh count a similar type of contest of champions? Or would that have to be more formalized to have them considered champions? Brandon said, to be considered. I would have said that had to be more formalized. I couldn't consider what happened there. It's definitely an echo, but I don't think it would fit. There's been legit, actual, contractual sorts of things that have happened.
This is very interesting to me because I was always like, oh, Elend's kind of Vin's champion. Now, granted, does that even matter unless there is some contest of champions where you're choosing representatives to deal with some Shardic battle? Certainly, that is not what is happening there. It's more just like, hey, Ruin is empowering someone specific that they're connecting to, and Vin's doing that as well. So I suppose that kind of makes sense, that it's like, it is not a contest of champions in that way.
I will.
There's no agreement behind it.
Right. They certainly did
but
not.
I can see how it echo, what Brandon's saying about how it echoes. It does have a very similar setup.
Yeah.
I will cite a WAB from JordanCon 2018 that is tangentially related to this, where I got to ask Brandon whether the Heralds are champions of honor in the same way that Tanavast was encouraging Dalinar to force Odium to choose a champion. Right. So, and they are apparently similar.
They're apparently similar. Okay. Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that.
Almost makes me think, isn't there an implication that maybe Honor and Odium did this before with a contest of champions?
No.
No?
In fact, the Stormfather says the opposite.
Oh, okay. Cool. I'd have to reread that last chapter of Way of Kings, to be specific, because he thinks it might work. But all right, so this next question says, how much have you thought about a mathematical relationship between investiture and energy/matter? Is there a Cosmere E=mc²? Brandon, I've thought about the concepts a lot. The numbers, I've tried to get some mathematicians. There are some lovely folks. I'm like, can we come up with a standardization? And it kind of broke their brains. Not because they aren't smart people. They're very smart people. But they're like, Brandon, where do we even start? How much energy is being expended? And this sort of thing. I would like to get a unit of measurement. How much investiture equals how much energy. But at the same time, the work being done by the various magic systems, it's going to be too constrictive to put too much math on that, I feel like. I would like to. It is a much bigger project than you might imagine it being. How much energy is stored in a sphere? That's kind of where we started. A sphere stores investiture. Obviously, some of that investiture is being lost as energy, is transferring energy as the sphere releases light. That is happening automatically. It's decaying and radiation is happening. How much is it therefore losing? How much could it do? How much of that can be transferred to doing work with lashing? All this stuff I've thought about way too much, and we have no answers for you yet because it's a really big project. Maybe we will someday, or maybe we'll just say this is too big a project to even be able to mathematically quantify. I'm sure if you have suggestions, you can post thoughts on the subreddits, and perhaps that will get to the various arcanists who are helping me with this. And very recently, like days ago, by the time we record this, Brandon did an AMA that he also streamed, and his answers were transcribed. And also relating to this word arcanists, Brandon is talking about issues with books, and he talks about Peter and Karen are good at spotting these mistakes. And he also says, you'll see in the next book that I've brought on people who I'm calling arcanists. These are fans who I've asked to check over specifically world building. This is very important to me because epic fantasy is about making you believe that it is real while you're reading. And he doesn't want this to be one of those where there's an inconsistency and it all breaks down. So now you know. So cool.
Yeah. Hate it when I read a fantasy novel and the basic laws of magic don't subject themselves to an easy 201 level course. It just kicks me out of the story every time.
I can't get on a Skillshare class about this? How dare they? I want to learn about this.
You'd imagine 30 years from now, there's an actual Skillshare class that's Cosmere mechanics.
Or a Cosmere textbook, yeah. Anyway, Evgeni.
It's me. It's my question.
It is your question. And it's such a good question, too.
Yeah, one that Adam struggled with because I use a lot of commas, apparently. So, also inspired by our Herald's episode.
Yes.
That we had recorded weeks ago or weeks prior to this.
Yeah.
I ask whether there are any genetic restrictions, spiritual or otherwise, to using an unsealed metal mind. For example, if Ivana got her hands on one of Alik's translation medallions, could she use it? Could Eatil, Mraze's Babsk, right, who is a descendant of Scadrians, Brent says, no, they're not. People from off-planet could use one of the metal mines. Good question. I think that's what you're asking. Barring Elantris, most of these things don't have any kind of region lock on the magics. And the unkeyed Investiture is not going to have a problem with that. That's kind of the whole point. It extends to people from off-planet.
Really interesting, because we were talking about pretty much the same thing before, but with the primer cubes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this also goes back to not our Southern Scadrians episode, but the Medallions episode that we did. And we were wondering how, like, we had at least a couple of prevailing theories on how Nigrosil can factor into the construction of a medallion. Like, does it add something onto your spirit web, or does it unlock something on the spirit web? Like, and so what does it mean for a non-Scadrian to be able to use that when they don't have that latent preservation?
Oh God, like the granting on how you're tapping the Nigrosil. Yeah, right, exactly. Right.
How are you able to ferrochemically tap a metal when you are not only not a ferrochemist, but you're also not even, like, you don't even have preservation in your soul?
I mean, it just seems like anyone would be able to tap a Nigrosil mind, I guess. That seems to be the implication. Assuming, I guess, it's identityless, right?
Yeah. Well, but that medallions are,
Well, right, but like you could imagine a Nigrosil fairing making like a bracer and like
just one of their own metal mines.
Yeah, right. Yeah, neat. I suppose that means that Axendwith, who I assumed was a ferrochemist, does not need to be a ferrochemist and could just be using one of these medallions.
She could be using a bunch of medallions, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Or not even a bunch, like she had. Well, so did she have a lot of rings?
Oh no, they did say that she had a lot of rings. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, and
I do vaguely remember that.
Don't medallions like interfere with each other? Because we saw that Alik had to interchange them.
Yeah, you can only have
in Bands of Mourning.
Yeah, but I don't.
So they might have fixed that eventually.
No, but Stormlight happens before even Era 2.
Happens before.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Maybe that's just not common to the Southerners who are talking about in bands, right? Or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, she did have rings, right? And typically when you're using the medallion, you're not using a separate ring. Like, you're drawing the ability that is stored in the metal mind, right?
Yeah.
So
she might just like jewelry. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I think it's more likely that she's just a fair chemist, right?
Yeah.
At least a fairing.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so the next question is from Kissa Oda. If Kelsier managed to get his hands on a Spren Bond, which order would he naturally gravitate towards in terms of personality and morals? Brandon, this is a really good question. I have trouble answering these because I feel like I need to take the quiz as Kelsier and check all the boxes. Where is Kelsier going to be? Maybe I need to start eliminating orders. So Skybreaker, probably not. Windrunner, close, but no. Edge Dancer, maybe. The whole I will listen and the whole recover the past, it's really more a Mare thing that Kelsier kind of picked up on, but it's where he found his center, so I would give him a partial hit on Edge Dancer. Dustbringer is a good hit also. This whole idea of self-mastery and pushing himself and things like this is going to be a good Kelsier fit. Bondsmith is going to be an okay Kelsier fit, with the kind of bringing together the crew and pulling off some big things. Lightweaver, not as much as you would think. I don't think Kelsier is there on the Lightweaver thing. What have I missed? Stoneward, no. Willshaper, he'd be a good Willshaper. Willshaper is high on the list, but I think Edge Dancer might win, maybe. But he's kind of borrowing that. It's a tie between Edge Dancer and Dustbringer, probably. Willshaper's up there too, three-way tie. I'd have to answer the questions from the thing and see where we go.
How cool. I think he missed Elscholar and Truthwatcher.
And Truthwatcher.
Yeah. But he's not exactly a scholar. He's
Yeah.
much more the stabby.
Well, I mean, Elf Scholars are not meant to be like, because one of the infamous or famous examples for Elf Scholars is like the calculating soldier, right? But he's not that.
No.
I like how much Mare's thoughts and beliefs have just imprinted on Kelsier and have just become part of who he is. That is really interesting to me.
Yeah, big agree on that one.
Yeah, agreed. I think Dustbringer would probably be the best fit. Personally, but I mean, I think it just comes down to which Spren do you attract, and like, can you swear the oaths?
Yeah, like I think Dustbringer is the first one that comes to mind for me, but it's definitely interesting hearing Brandon talk about some of the other ones that I probably wouldn't have thought of, and hearing his explanations as to why. I'm like, actually, no, that does fit pretty well.
Will Shaper freeing people? Like, that does check out. He did do a lot of that, so like that really does check out.
I really like the Edge Dancer,
bringing people together.
Yeah, what was that, Evgeni?
I really like the Edge Dancer myself. And I understand that yes, it was Mare's thing, but
it's important to him now.
It feels right to me how much he's internalized the Mayor's beliefs and personality in a way, and mission in outlook in life.
Yeah. Veronica.
Okay, so the next question is from Grand Admiral Thrawn 10. Nice username.
The Grand Admiral
himself. Wow.
As a truth watcher, I am curious. Are we going to learn the standard ideals that Stump would give, or will we just learn the ones Renard and Relaine speak since they are bonded to enlightened Spren? I need to know what my ideals are. And Brandon said, you will learn those both. You will learn the differences between them. I'm kind of being dodgy until I get to Renard's book for some of this stuff, but my goal will be to give you both sets of ideals.
Good. I would be...
Cool. I'm glad.
I want to know what the differences are between these. I need that. So, like, I feel like when we get to the end of Stormlight, we will get most ideals for most orders, and if not, he will, like, canonize them in some form, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's got to. And I imagine he has the idea for every ideal, but maybe just not the specific phrasing, I feel like.
Definitely not the specific phrasing, right?
Yeah. But just like the intent of what it would be, and just like, okay, I gotta make it pithy, you know? Good. I mean, makes sense that we gotta wait to Renard's book, though, right?
Yeah.
So Dresden TC24 asks, can other bondsmith Spren become blades for their bondsmiths? And how would it affect the tower if the sibling became a blade? Brandon, I'm gonna say it's outside the realm of possibility for the sibling right now. Is it possible for the other two? Yes, it's possible, but implausible. Highly implausible for the sibling. Yeah, I feel like if the sibling tried that, that would not go well for Urithiru. So that's probably not a great idea.
Well, also the sibling is already kind of manifested in the physical realm,
right? Yeah,
as like the veins of the tower and the fabrials.
Yeah, so like it wouldn't even make sense. Like you would need to do so many things and destroy Urithiru to probably make that work. Yeah, don't do that. That sounds like a bad idea.
Cool.
But
interesting that the others are possible.
Yeah. I mean, we did see. I mean, it's not that canon, but we did see a bondsmith like with a blade in the drawing Steve Argyle did.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
I mean, he said it is like the stereotypical bondsmith. Doesn't mean that it's any particular character, but the fact that it's possible, though implausible.
Yeah, I don't know how much we need to look into that necessarily, right? Because it's like it just seems so implausible that the Stormfather would ever allow someone to do that. But like maybe the Stormfather before Honor's death would have been very different, right? Like that is possible. And maybe also the Night Watcher's just like, yeah, sure, that's cool. But like Brandon does say it's possible but implausible, regardless.
Let's to the next question, because I want to say this person's username, which is Dr. Bonko 360.
Nice.
I don't even know what the question is, but I love the name.
Yeah.
Let's see what the question is, though. Is there a difference between the way that Shallan broke, quote unquote, her bond with Testament and the way that the rest of the Radiants broke their bonds in the Recreants. So, is there a difference between these that allowed Shallan to use Surge Binding between her bonds with Testament and Pattern, right? Bit of a mind bender to process that, but let's see what Brandon says. Kind of and kind of not. Thanks, Brandon. I mean, the thing about it is, some of the things that are happening with Shallan could have happened in the past and probably did, but it's been so long ago and it's not really relevant. So it's less like she's done something super unique and more like things that are happening with Shallan also probably happened, not with everybody, but with some. But there's just not a record of it, and it's not as relevant to the conversation. So less that she's special and more that it's a possibility. Not giving any confirmations to any specific items, just saying what is happening with Shallan could theoretically have happened in the past, and probably did.
Right. So presumably what is happening is, okay, you killed your Radiance friend. Oops. But you then bonded the Shard Blade. Cool. Maybe you have some latent Surge Binding abilities from there. And like that is plausible that during the Recreant's time that could have happened to some Radiant somewhere, right? Like,
yeah, I guess, because I can easily see, like, all the Radiants agree that, and their Spren agree that, okay, yeah, we have to do this for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then some of them are like, yeah, but this is my friend. I can't just, like, drop him in a ditch somewhere.
Yeah.
And so they pick up the blade and they carry it around.
Yeah, that's possible. And there were a few times where Shallan used abilities, though query whether her soul casting at the end of Way of Kings pre-pattern or with a proto-pattern bond, I don't know, is using the Testament stuff
timeline.
like, oh god.
Yeah, that timeline was for sure, like, frustrating, like, with Max and Deadeyes, because I was like, we don't have the answers yet. We're missing one book at least to find out.
We need some answers.
Sorry.
And Shallan's mom being a herald is not going to fix those answers, so we actually still need those answers actually answered here.
I cannot wait to find out
that
that she's actually
more
bonded.
questions.
It does create more questions, and we don't need more questions with Shallan.
Don't need more questions.
How's the Unmade relevant to the Devar household? We'll find out. You forget about that?
No. I didn't remember.
Cool.
Okay, Oddben11 asks, is the secret way that the God King and Warbreaker can have children the same way that the Heralds can? Brandon, long series of uncertain sounds. No, but there could be. I'm just going to say no, but interesting theorizing, and it's possible that I could change my mind. It's interesting because I thought like it would have been the same. Like I thought it wasn't like a return thing. It was you're a cognitive shadow. How do you have a child? But at least they are. Yeah. So,
but there's also the notable oddity that the God King is. His
Supposedly
body is made of flesh, when the Herald's bodies are originally made of Investiture. Like, the God King was born a human person. None of this makes sense. But
no, but like, the Herald's bodies,
I'm actually following you completely.
When the Heralds come back from Braize, they're like, their body materializes into a thing. And like, it's weird. And there is a qualitative difference there.
So, Gracie Moose says, you've said Fein life has spread beyond the Elend in significant ways. That's, I think, from one of the Secret Project streams? I don't know. Have we seen this in the books, excluding Mraize's Fein branch? And Brandon says, no, you have not. Watch out for Shodel, they'll be showing up. Dragons will be showing up, but actual Fein life. When I'm talking about that kind of... I'm talking about the entire ecosystem. You'll know when you see it.
That is really cool. That is really cool. Also, dragons showing up, Shodel showing up. Nice.
I'm really excited to see Shodel.
Yeah, that and Fane life, you'll know it when you see it. Like, okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, the implication would be that the whole environment is like white.
Yeah.
A little bit we know of Dragonsteel and all that.
For those of us, for those of you who are not in the deepest of the deeps, Shodel might be a term that is a little unfamiliar to you.
It may well be, yes.
There's not a whole lot to know because we just don't know that much about Shodel, but they are so Yolen, the original kind of world where the Shattering took place, had 3 sapient races. It had humans, which we're obviously very familiar with. We have dragons, which we're not very familiar with, but kind of understand.
Dragonsteel Entertainment. They're there.
And it had Shodel. And they are, we haven't seen any on screen. We know that Ambition's vessel, Yulida, and you might notice a similarity in the naming convention between Shodel and Yulida.
2 short words with a space,
Yep. So, she?
Yulida's
I
female,
think it's a she.
Yeah.
She was a Shodel.
Yeah.
And they there's an entire ecosystem in the Cosmere similar to the one that we live and see in our world, where instead of grass and trees and animals and things like that, there's Fane life.
And we don't really know what that means, really.
We don't really know what that means. It's like a different version, a different ecosystem. And the Shodel fit in that ecosystem in the same way that humans and other races that we are familiar with fit into our kind of normal earthly ecosystem.
Brandon's described the Shodel as sort of like if our ecology and humans are like the sapient member of our ecology, the Shodel are like the sapient species in the Fane ecology. Anyway, so this is very cool. And obviously, Brandon wouldn't have these 3 races if they didn't show up sometime, right? Obviously. By the way, you can read some of the Dragonsteel Prime sample chapters posted on Brandon's website, which I can put in the description. And you can see, at least, it's non-canonical, but a description of a dragon. You can go watch Jarek be on the Shattered Plains fighting Shodel, which is that's how it was on Yolen before Brandon moved it to Roshar. And you can read a little bit about that. You can wait until the Words of Radiance Kickstarter, when presumably it'll be released for the wider public rather than just the people who can go to the BYU library. And I'm thrilled that we'll actually be able to talk about it. That'll be great. Cool. Awesome. I'm excited to see some Fane ecology matter, and that's very cool that it's spread out in a significant way. Okay, so our last question for this episode, the Cones of Dunshire, Stormlight 5 Prologue. Are we supposed to be getting really weird vibes from the Stormfather, or is this just for lack of editing? And Brandon does the exact same thing as the Shallan Herald mom.
Why don't we let Brandon take this one again? Why don't we
let Brandon take it in, so you can just hear exactly what he said.
I don't know what you mean, weird. That totally seems like the way the Stormfather always acts and has always acted.
So that is interesting, how clearly Brandon is aware of this, right? This is an intentional thing.
I hate this prologue so much.
I still think it's the Stormfather, though, but this definite... I know we said that Shallan's mom being a Herald one earlier doesn't really say anything, and this could be similar, but I feel like this does give more fuel to... No, this isn't actually the Stormfather, that there's definitely something weird going on.
Yeah. I think Brandon's trolling big time here, but I can see what you mean about how this does kind of give more fuel to it. Yeah. But I think Brandon's just aware that people think this, and it's like, well, I'm not going to stop people from theorizing now, am I?
I was aware not only that people think this, but that when he released the Stormlight 5 prologue, people would like immediately gravitate to a theory like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the two biggest things that seem to come out of that prologue is whether Shallan's mom is a Herald and whether it's actually the Stormfather. So I would be really surprised if Brandon didn't see people talking about those things.
Yeah. Hey, Kelsier's there too. So, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but he's kind of a step down from all of this, honestly. Like, it was great that he showed up, but people just aren't talking about it as much.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's less of a controversy, right?
Yeah.
Than those other things, whereas the other things are controversies. Though Seon in a trench coat confirmed it's still tight. It's
fantastic.
But he actually made it work.
Yeah, and not be totally silly.
Really dumb.
So good. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, at this stage, I feel like we just need to wait for the book. There's not really.
Yep.
We said what we wanted to say on our prologue episode, and I still think it's plausible it could be the Stormfather, but this does leave some room for weirdness.
I am still rooting for. It is still the Stormfather, but his personality has changed for whatever reason.
Yeah, I'm glad Brandon is aware of this. All right, so that is all the bobs for this one. Wait 2 weeks and we'll have more from these spoiler streams, and we'll also talk a little bit about that Our Books AMA and that there is movie news, kind of. Stay tuned for that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool stuff. So we'll open with that next time and do more spoiler streams. But for now, it's time for Who's That Cosmere Character?
This character is from Roshar.
Menace. Tien. Tom.
Braize.
Hoid in drag on a horse.
It's time for Who's That Cosmere Character? Caw. All right, you know how the game's played. You send in 5 clues and a character to WTCC@17shard.com. I read each clue aloud, and after each clue, these guys have a chance to guess who's that Cosmere character. All right, this first, what are you doing, Evgeni? Are you trying to become an evil villain in a Western? Oh my god, that's horrifying.
How is this game played, Eric?
That's really great, Evgeni. All right, this first one is sent by Stephen McCullough, and so dangerous when the answer is the very first thing before the clues. Just dangerous. It is like the answer is. Oh wait. Can't
Clue
read
number
that.
1. This character is.
Clue number, yeah, right. Just name the thing, yeah. Clue 1. This character is dead.
Kelsier.
It's not Kelsier.
Blushweaver.
It's not Blushweaver. I was like, where are you going with that?
I hadn't decided whether I was going to go with Blushweaver or Bluefingers.
Oh, okay, sure, fair.
Well, then I'll take the other and I'll say Bluefingers.
It's not Bluefingers. Clue 2. This character was bonded to a Spren.
Malishi.
It's not Malishi. Nice. Is he dead,
Wow.
though? You don't know.
I mean, it's been enough time, hasn't
It's
it?
not Teft.
Too soon.
Rip Taft.
Rip.
Bonded to a Spren.
Yeah.
Tien?
It's not Tien. Clue 3. This character was supportive.
Was it Syl's former shardbearer?
No.
I don't know their name.
Oh, I think it starts with an R, I think, but no, it's not them.
Okay.
Oh, he had a good name, like very
Yeah.
Shallan name.
It definitely started with an R, though.
Helleran?
It's not Helleran. Also, I don't think he was bonded with a Spren.
Yeah.
Well, he had a shard blade.
I think he was given a shard blade. I think he
Yeah.
was on the way to doing it.
Bond, but you bond with the blade, and the blade is a Spren.
Oh.
I don't think that's what the spirit of that clue means, Evgeni.
Yeah,
but
I
I
don't
mean,
think
I don't know, Eric. I don't have the email open.
Can't look at my bookshelf.
yeah. Eerie, Rira. I should put my background to just be the Roshar map, just to really help you guys out. You know,
you can. No, we can just go through constellations.
Yeah.
Renody, the Scar.
Yeah.
The shoemaker who
Yim
tried to help people.
Yeah, no, it's not him. Clue 4, this character was killed by the Parshendi.
What? Oh, Sureblood.
It is Sureblood. It is Sureblood, indeed.
I have grown wise to your tricks, listeners.
Sureblood's always a good one because it's like the Rashadium have this friend bond, right?
Yeah.
Clue 5. Yeah.
It can't be Gallant because
No.
Gallant is alive.
Well, not dead.
My favorite was beating Paleo because he guessed the wrong horse and I guessed the right horse at the end of one of those. Clue 5. This character was one of Adolin's best friends. Nice. Cool. This next one is sent by a Neon Fox tribute.
Is that a tribute to a Neon Fox, or is it a Neon Fox that's a tribute?
I'm wondering if it's a Naruto reference.
Okay, let us know. Let me know.
All right. Clue 1. This character once led a rebellion.
Marsh.
It's not Marsh. I like that,
Very
though.
good guess.
It's very good. It's easy to forget that fact, I feel like.
Not Yeoman. Yedin?
It's not Yedin. I like it, too.
Same person I was thinking of.
Nice.
Should have been faster.
High Prince, what's his name?
Yes,
The one from the Rift. God.
Oh, yeah.
Tanalan.
With
Tanalan.
T. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not Tanalan.
Senior or junior?
My favorite question.
It is not Tanalan. I'll say it's not either Tanalan. That's fine.
That was going to be my next guess, so thank you.
Okay.
The answer is...
Like, which Battle of the Rift, right? Like, you know?
Right?
Yeah. Clue 2, this character has been stabbed.
Blue Fingers.
Nope. Not Blue Fingers.
I don't remember if he was stabbed. How did he die?
I don't even remember if he did specifically die. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, I don't either.
I was going to say that earlier. I'm like, did he die? I don't know about that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
I got too caught up in that scene on like his like not liking the betrayals that I don't remember what happened afterwards.
Sousa Brown just kind of stops him and that's it.
Kelsier?
It's not Kelsier. That's true. He was stabbed.
He is very stabbable.
Spike.
And also the spear.
Oh, right. Yes, that's true. Yes.
Raiden?
It's not Raiden. Clue 3. This character is controlled by someone else.
Well, I was going to guess Ryle, but I don't think that applies anymore. Stabbed leader of a rebellion, or once leader of a rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
It was controlled by someone else.
Wraithen?
Is not Wraithen.
The leader of the rebellion part doesn't fit that well, but...
I mean, he kind of overthrew, like, Duladel, right?
Yeah, that works.
The Citizen.
It is not the Citizen. That's good.
Wow. That's
a good one.
Very good.
We're running out of rebellions here.
Right. Lots of people getting stabbed. Not many rebels. I'm gonna heavily lean on a technicality here and go with Elend.
It's not Elend. Nope. Clue 4. This character is from Scadrial. Which is very helpful given all your Scadrial guesses, I imagine.
Penrod?
Not Penrod.
I'm gonna, again, lean on a technicality and say human.
It is Human the Colossus.
Oh,
wow.
This email also said that had an alternative clue 1 that was this character is human, but then put in parentheses, if you don't like this, the alternative is this character once led a rebellion. And so I went with that because we have had a human the Koloss where the first clue is human.
Yeah.
I remember.
For those of you who don't know, in the annotations, Brandon says human was a person named Vershad who lived in the Burnlands who led a rebellion and then eventually turned into a Koloss. So.
Oh, well, that's a technicality that I was thinking of. I was like, if he led a rebellion, I was thinking of the rebellion, not from the annotations, because I actually haven't read all those misborn ones, but from, this, rebellion of, the perception of Koloss and, how... he wanted to be treated like a human.
Yeah, no, he actually did lead a rebellion, and very clearly. So, yeah. Oh, and clue 5 was
merchant.
Yes, I don't quite remember. Clue 5: this character is a Koloss, so that would have helped.
No,
real nice.
Yeah,
I do appreciate the parallel of the first clue being this character is human, and then the last clue being
that is true. That is true. We do somewhat miss that.
But I do feel like whenever there's now the clue of this character is human,
you gotta guess human.
Yeah,
that was another reason why I didn't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
it worked so well the first time, and then it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So this next one is from our priority queue, and so if you are a Herald on Patreon, you can submit priority queue things that we get to sooner than otherwise. So this one is sent in by Psychopathic. Clue 1, this character is a warrior.
Vin.
It's not Vin.
Sadie's the Sunmaker.
It's not Sadie's the Sunmaker.
Don't know why that popped into my mind.
No.
I am reading about Vershad.
Yeah,
but I'm
isn't
gonna
it cool?
guess. Yeah, so well, let me get my guess out of the way.
Okay.
Naldon.
It's not Nohadon.
Okay. Before we go into the next one, I had forgotten 90%.
I know, isn't it cool?
So he was a Ska rebel.
Mm-hmm.
Southeast Final Empire, same area, clubs, fought in his youth. Yada yada. His preferred methods involved converting the local Ska population to his side, convincing him to give him supplies. In return, he and his band would raid the village, only attacking the nobility, allowing the Ska to get back at them.
Nice. Lovely.
As well as earning even more supplies.
Yeah, and didn't eventually the Lord Ruler just tire of this gimmick and just sent the Koloss to kill them all?
Yeah.
Sounds
With the
right.
aid of an Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Who set an ambush as well as betraying the rebels.
Yeah, don't go against the Lord Ruler generally. You're gonna have a very brutal end. Clue 2. So the first clue was this character is a warrior. Clue 2, this character appears frail and weak.
The Lord Ruler.
Nope. It's not the Lord Ruler.
Who only sometimes appears frail and weak.
That's true.
And then other times he appears thick.
Very thick. Double C. Triple C.
Yeah, triple C.
If he
the
wants.
Lord.
Sazed.
It's not Sazed. Yeah, that's true.
Also sometimes thick.
Yes.
That's exactly
now you can just go through every single Ferrochemist and do the same thing. Yeah, nice. Easy.
Tintwill, thick. Wayne, not thick.
I always my headcanon of Wayne, even though we've got description, has always been this little plump man.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well.
Yeah, I buy that.
Vistum.
It's not Vistum. Clue 3, this character is a main character.
What?
Raiden.
It's not Raiden. For the story they're in,
What does it mean to be a main character?
You would unambiguously say this is a main character.
I know.
Yeah.
Appears frail and weak, and is also a warrior.
Mm-hmm. That's a great expression there, Evgeni.
And it's not Vin.
It's not Vin. No, it's not Vin.
Renarin?
It's not Renarin.
Good one.
Yeah.
Good guess.
Elend
Before he got swole.
Yeah, because like later on, like he like Ben trains him and all that, but he definitely couldn't hold his own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Final Empire.
No, it's not Elend. Clue 4, this character has scars over their arms.
Who wants to say it?
No.
Zane.
It's not Zane.
Bro, not a main character. Come on.
Kind of in his book he is.
For the book he's in, he is a viewpoint character. Like you could maybe say he's a main character. Wants to say it?
No. I will lose this round before guessing Kelsier.
What if it genuinely is killed?
Then I will lose this round before guessing it.
Okay, nobody else is gonna guess it. So I'm gonna say Cosmere.
It's not Kelsier. No.
I imagined that wasn't.
That would be so funny. It was like,
otherwise,
That would have been really funny. That would have been really funny.
This
Stalemate
character is a world-hopping storyteller.
Yeah, I just wanted to get Kelsey out of the way, honestly.
Yeah.
Probably not Warbreaker. Not Elantris. There's like 3 main characters there and none of them work. Shadows for Silence? I don't think so. Sixth of the Dusk? Doesn't appear Frey or weak. White Sand? No.
I thought we were going all the way to White Sand.
Is it Spook?
It's not Spook. Clue 5. This character has multiple personalities.
Tarvangian.
It's not Taravangian.
What?
Hoid.
It's not Hoid.
What? I feel like any subset of like 3 of these clues should have been
I know.
extremely telling.
Mm-hmm. I can give a bonus clue too.
Hold up, I'm gonna go meta.
Okay.
It's a main character.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's a main character in a Brandon Sanderson book. No. It could be a main character of an in-world story.
Okay.
Of a Brandon Sanderson book.
I am curious to see if you'll pull this together here, Evgeni.
Fleet is not noted to have scars.
Yep.
Neither is Daffodil or Dareth or whatever.
Daffodil. That's as good as King Idris. Please do not forget that. I remember King Idris from Ben. I miss Ben. Ben's so busy doing Diceborn that he hasn't been on. But good old King Idris.
Vivenna.
It's not Vivenna. I'll give you a bonus clue. The bonus clue is this character's from Cell.
I'm out. I don't know.
There are
I should
3
take it back.
main
What's
characters.
the little monk guy?
Why?
Yes, Jess, it is Shy. It is Shy.
I didn't say Shy.
Oh.
I did.
I said the monk
Veronica.
guy.
Oh, the monk guy.
Veronica said Shy.
Veronica said Shy. Yes, it is Shy. I admit I am not. Yeah, it wasn't in the Coppermine appearance section, so I was a little concerned if they actually left scars, like maybe they magically faded, so I wasn't quite sure. But anyway,
It's been a very long time since I read that book.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too.
Honestly, the moment you said Cell, I was like, this is the only possible thing that makes sense.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Well, that was a good one. And yeah, so we will see you all next time for more WOBs. And you can find us on 17shard.com for all your news, discussion, theories, and fun that you could ever hope to want. Ever. Yeah, that's right. Ever. And we got a Discord. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, YouTube. Leave a comment below about what you think Shard investitures taste like. That's what we're going with, I guess.
Ambition.
I think
Ambition is the one that stumped us.
Well, Did you get through every shard? I think there were some shards.
No,
No,
but
we
like
didn't.
Ambition was
especially
the
Ambition.
one where we were like,
List out all of them and see. And yeah, we will see you all next time. Support us on Patreon too. Yeah, we got cool stuff. So see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.
bye bye.
Caw.